You're not going crazy. You're actually going sane. Hello, I am Laura Key Lala, and welcome to my channel. We are now going into week 2 of finding your soul's voice. Now, this is a 13-week journey that I was inspired to do by The Artist's Way. The author of that is Julia Cameron. So this is not an official guide, nor am I connected to the publisher or the author. This is just simply my journey, my story, my soul's awakening. And I'm inviting you to walk along beside me and to do this work with me. So if you haven't watched the first week, go back and watch that. And there was also a bonus section called Who Sits at Your Table? You want to go back and look at that too. But if you thought week 1 cracked the door open, then week 2 swings that door wide and it says, let's get real. Week 2 kind of shook me because I really had to face some things and some people in my life that I didn't think that I was actually going to have to face. And this week is actually all about recovering a sense of identity, your identity. Not the version of you defined by your job or your relationships or the roles you play, but the real you underneath it all. So the creative, brilliant, vibrant, intuitive, powerful you. And here's the truth. You might feel like you're going crazy, but you're not going crazy. You're finally going sane. When you first start doing this work, when you slow down and you start to journal and you are tuning in, it feels very disorienting at first. You begin to hear yourself again, finally for the first time. And sometimes what you hear is uncomfortable. But don't let that discomfort bother you. It's not madness. It's clarity. It's the noise falling away. It's the fog that's lifting that you've been wandering around. You remember that fog that they used to have in those old movies like Dark Shadows, and you had this manor and there was this big fog thing outside the gate, and ooh, don't go to the fog. Boogeyman's out there. That's what it reminds me of. So for years, I've actually been moving through life on autopilot, and it was defined by what others needed me to be. But now I'm actually choosing to listen to my own voice. And let me tell you, baby, it's both terrifying and beautiful at the same time. I don't even know how to explain it. I tried to explain it to my husband. I'm like, I'm in this place. I'm in this place, but I don't know how to describe it to you. I'm very much, and then I'm very much, like it's very interesting. And I hope that maybe that you are there too if you're following on this journey and you've done the introduction week and you've done the week 1. But one of the very hardest truths that I had to face this week was about the people in my life, especially the ones that I've actually allowed to derail my dreams. Now, in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, I highly suggest it. Link is in the bio for you if you want to buy it. She actually calls these people crazy makers and poisonous playmates. And I thought that was so on target. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? The friend who always has the drama when you're finally getting focused. The family member who mocks your little hobbies or your little business. Your partner who wants your energy but not your growth. The coworker who drains your time with gossip and chaos. These people don't necessarily mean to hurt you. Some may even really love you. But that doesn't mean they get to steal your focus or dim your light. So in week 2, I asked myself, who benefits when I stay small? And why have I been letting them? And that was a really deep hit. And I look back over my life as well, because even as a young child, I always wanted to see the good in people. And I didn't want to believe that people had any ill will or bad intentions. And there were certain people in my life that I just continued to let hurt me over and over. And even today, I still have a little bit of that where, I still want to believe that there's good, even though they've proven to me that they are toxic in my life. So attacking that has been quite hard for me. And I'm going to tell you a little story before we leave about how I did tackle some of those things. And I did something very interesting, and I'm able to move forward. And it was so freeing. But listen, sometimes you have skepticism about yourself. And that's because you've let so many people chatter in your ear, chattering yourself. I get it. I don't know. I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm just too late, blah, blah, blah. And actually, skepticism is just fear in disguise. So let's talk about resistance and doubt. That little voice that says, this is silly. This won't work. Affirmations are weird. Yeah, I struggle with the affirmations. That voice, that little voice, isn't truth. It's fear. It's the scared part of you trying to protect you from being disappointed. But I want to ask you this. What if you just do the work anyway? What if you act like your creativity matters even before you fully believe it? So this week, I'm committed to paying attention. And week 2 was a really paying attention time for me. Not to fear. I'm not paying attention to fear. I'm actually going to pay attention, and I hope you are, to inspiration and to beauty and to flow. And that shift alone is going to start to change everything for you. Okay? I started thinking in my head. When those things came up in my head, I switched it. I'm not good enough to, I'm not there yet, but I will be. I couldn't get that riff. Oh, I'll never be able to sing that riff. Oh, what a beautiful riff. I can't wait to learn that. Or, oh, I'll never be able to get these chords on this guitar. To, that sounded crazy. It's going to sound wonderful when it's done, but right now my fingers are so funny making these sounds. Just making silly things up to dispel the things that were negative, because I want to now start to switch the narrative. And there is something very deep in that. How many times do you speak negatively to yourself or about yourself? How about when you first get up in the morning and your body is stiff and you're like, this is too much. Instead of, wow, I was able to wake up today and be able to move. Look at that sunshine out there. Or even laugh at yourself. Well, that knee popped this morning. We're going to have to grease that. And just start being silly. Do you remember being silly when you were a kid and laughing at things? If you fail, you'd crack up laughing. If you tripped, you'd laugh. It's simple things in life that we have made too serious. So in week 2, I decided to change the rules of the road. Now, I revisited the core truths that were guiding my journey. And in the artist way, Julia calls them the rules of the road. So I've adapted a few of them for myself. And here's a few. Like, I tell myself, creativity is the natural order of life. You are creative. It's my birthright. You are worthy of expression no matter how it comes out. Perfect example. I sing for my church. I record for my church. We have an online service, right? And I record almost every week. And today we recorded, and I had practiced so hard, and there was just things I wanted to do. And my husband was like, well, guess what? We're going to add another part to it. And I freaked out. What do you mean? You're going to add another part to it? I haven't practiced it. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that part is going to be. Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm not ready. He was like, guess what? We're going to do it anyway. I have a very supportive partner. So we did it. And there were a lot of wrong notes for me. But I just kept going. And what felt good to me, I did it. And when it didn't feel good, I switched it. And we got through it. And a nice big hug afterwards. So self-exploration is a part of healing. I didn't have to be perfect. I needed to get in there and just play a little bit. Because out of play comes some really good stuff. So when you are exploring, you're actually healing, and you're starting to break down the myths that you have actually told yourself. And another thing that I started to do that I am really starting to love, I started to understand that play and rest and joy are not luxuries. They're actually necessary. Let me say that again. Play, rest, joy are not luxuries. They are a huge necessity in your life. So which one of those hit you the hardest? Because for me, it was the idea that it was safe to create, even if it was not so pretty, even if I hit a crazy note, even if I didn't want it to come out the way that it came out, even if I cracked a little bit. Listen, I'm still trying to learn to trust that process, because at 55, I got a lot of undoing to do, right? So week 2 is all about tapping into you and not playing it safe anymore. There's no adventure in safe. You know, you got to tap back into who you are, because you're not just your job. You're not just a mother. You're not just a wife. And who you surround yourself with really matters. Are they toxic to you? Do they belong in your inner circle? Do you give people too much credit to earn that special spot in your circle? Now, I promised that I would share something that I did in week 1 of our work. I shared with you that I'm doing this thing called burn letters. And this is not a part of what Julia teaches in her book, but I had heard this many, many years ago, and I thought I wanted to incorporate that into my healing and my creative la-la. Okay? So I started writing these letters to people that I feel hurt me or did me wrong, or if there was a situation that I wish would have turned out differently, I would write a letter. And these are toxic people in my life. I really realized that. And one thing that I do is I carry that too long. I tend to go back and play those type of moments over and over in my head like a bad movie. And then sometimes I get in this, see, I should have done it this way. I wish I would have said, I wish I could have. And I'm still carrying it. And sometimes it's been 20 years. That's too long. So I write a letter to these people. And I mean, I don't hold back. And I found myself crying in some of them, and some of them just anger, just and I should have, and just kept on and kept on. And the more I started writing, some of them are 1 page, some of them are 2 page, some of them are 3 page. But when I was done, I did reread it. I folded it. I went out to my backyard to the grill. I took a nice lighter and I set it on fire. Shit it. I didn't sit. I shit it. I shit it on fire. Oh my God. When I did that, I also said to myself, and you can say whatever you want to say, I release this. This no longer serves me, not this person, not this situation. You no longer have control to have rent-free space in my head or my heart. I release you, and I use this to empower me on the rest of my journey. Baby, I felt like little demons was coming up out of those flames. Bye. And one of those letters was written to a childhood friend who I now admit they were toxic for me. I thought they were the only person that was my friend, and every time that person was able to put me in harm's way, they did. And I, over and over, forgave them, took them back into my heart. Didn't listen to what even my mother said, because even my mother was like, you need to be careful. But no, they're great. No, they weren't. And so I carried that for years. And so I wrote a letter to this person. And I wrote out all the things that I remembered about how they put me in harm's way. And I burned that letter. It felt so good. And guess what? I felt better. But somehow that manifested them back into my life. Then I knew what to do. They're no longer in the inner sanctum. They're no longer in my circle. I didn't even acknowledge. They showed up on my social media and started liking all of my pictures, which tells me they've been stalking and chicken hawking for a very long time. And so your intentions are not in the right place, but I released that. And sometimes that may happen when you release people, they may pop back up, but I see it as a test, because now you've got the tools to say, whoa, boundaries set on lock. So don't be surprised when you do these types of exercises and you find that some of these people or some of these things come back up, because you know what? You've never faced them the way you should have faced them before. And it's not a shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now you're bold enough, you're strong enough to put these people and things in the right place. So here are this week's practices. I have a workbook. It's in the link. You're more than welcome to go and download that. There is a small charge, not much at all. But here's what you and I, because I'm still doing it, need to focus on this week. So listen, you need to still do your morning writings. Every day you do your morning writings. You're still flowing, things are still raw, and it's still off limits to reread them. You write it down, you let it out, You let it go. No reread to the book. Okay? 2, you're still going to be doing 3 affirmations a day. And when you do those, you need to write them out 5 times and say them out loud. Now, if you still are struggling with affirmations, it's really easy to find some online, but I'm going to give you some. And if any of them resonate with you, you can use them for yourselves or make it work for you. Here's 3 examples. I reclaim my identity as a creative being. 2, my voice matters, not what other people believe. My voice matters. 3, I am free to express myself without fear. Simple. 3, write them 5 times. Okay? Your next task for this week is to name your crazy makers, the poisonous people that we talked about, like the burn letter that I did. I actually sat down and wrote out a list of names of the people who throw me off track or I need closure with, and I just have a list of those. And when I'm ready to deal with those letters, I do that. But if there's people in your daily life now who throw you off track, then you need to ask yourself what boundaries that you need so that you can start building. And then I want you to start paying attention, right? Where did your energy go this week? Did you give attention to your growth, or did you just react to others? And you put everybody else first except yourself? Or you put something that you really wanted to do away because someone else was pulling at your time? And finally, if you want to, this is optional, but it's powerful, start burn letters. If anything stirred up an emotion about someone in your life and you don't feel like you've gotten closure, or you're just angry about it and you're still carrying it for too long. I told you I carried something for 20 years, right? And some even longer. Write a letter, then burn it with intention. And say when you're burning it, you no longer have control over me. I release this pain because I choose healing. So then you're going to do a weekly check-in at the end of the week. I won't lie. This week really did test me, but it also empowered me. So when you do your check-in, you're going to say, hey, did I do all of my morning papers? I call them morning papers because it's a Prince song called Morning Papers. Did I do all my journaling every week? If I didn't, why? What pulled me away? How does that make me feel that I didn't do them every day? Or, yeah, I did them every day and they make me feel good. They're tough, but they make me feel good, right? And did you find something to give you joy every single day? At least once a week, you should be taking yourself out on a date. Just you, yourself, and I. Me, myself, and I. To do something fun. Even if it's just you sitting on your patio blowing bubbles. That is my new thing. Is to sit on my patio and blow bubbles. And just listen to music that makes me happy. That's an artist date. If you like art, did you take yourself to a museum? You don't have to spend money to do this. Just take yourself out and do something that makes you happy. Maybe it's a childhood thing that you did. Just do that. Because you know what? You've been minimizing yourself for too long. And I've been minimizing myself too long. I didn't even notice it. So there's going to be no more just. You are an artist. You're not, I'm just a mother. No, we're switching language. Ready? I am an artist. I am a singer. I am a whole, creative, ever-evolving soul. I am. Now, here's an invitation for you. Now, if you haven't watch the series from the beginning, I want you to go back and do. We had an introduction. We had a who's sitting at my table. We had a week 1. This is week 2. I want you to download the workbook or get your journal or order the book. And I want you to write your truths and your fears. I want you to protect your energy like your creativity depends on it, because it does. And then I want you to join the Facebook group, because we're going to connect with others on this path. I'm going to be posting in there. Listen, here's the thing. You're not going crazy. You're going sane. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not late. You're right on time. So let's keep going together. Watch this video as much as you need to. Work it out in your workbook. Write it all down. But get started on you, because I'm enjoying this journey. Listen, I know there is times where I feel like, oh God, I don't want to do this. I'm struggling. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. And sometimes I'm writing blah, 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 blah in my journals. And then something will come out. It's a new me. It's Lala having fun in the sandbox again. It's Lala running through the fields in the grass barefoot again. It's Lala tapping into her real self, even if it's things that made her happy when she was a child. And I hope and I pray that that's the same thing that is happening in your life. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, come to the Facebook group, download the workbooks, do the work with me. We're doing it together. Because the more of us who heal, the better the actual world becomes. And we all know that it's heavy right now. But we could choose to be the light, right? So, I want you to be blessed. I want you to go out there on that limb, because that's where the fruit is. Now go be a good human. You never know when a smile, just a simple smile, even if it's yours, can save somebody's life. Sugar.